Tonight on Queer Young Thing, we are talking about sex. Welcome to Queer Young Thing. My name's Dylan Adler, and tonight we're talking about love and sex. And I'm lucky to be joined by some lovely, youthful ladies. I'd like to know, girls, do you think love and sex are connected, or do you think they're two totally different topics?
I think they're completely different topics. I don't think you have to be in love to have sex, and I don't think if you have sex, you're going to fall in love with the person that you're having sex with.
That's exactly how I think as well. Completely different things.
Yeah, absolutely. And just echoing what you said, I definitely don't think that, I think I've gone through some experiences with people, some sexual experiences, and so I am not in love with you.
No, you can hate someone and still have really good sex with them.
Yeah.
My ex-girlfriend.
I think that they're completely different, but I think they're still related, and I think that love can make sex better.
Like love can make sex better, or sex can make love better? Like, what do you mean by that?
I think when you love someone, you get to really know them and know what they like, and they know what you like, and it sort of I don't know, it just makes it more intimate, I think.
Yeah, and definitely a chemistry factor has to be involved there.
What do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah.
Well, I think love and sex are two totally different topics altogether. I can love somebody. Like, okay, I love my best friend, but I'm not going to have sex with her.
Yeah.
And you might have sex with somebody, but I'm not going to be in love with them because I'm allergic to that stuff.
Love and sex, how connected are they?
Very connected.
For me personally, completely, but I think it's personal.
So such a philosophical question.
Love and sex, how connected are they?
I'd like to say very connected.
But they're connected fantastically. I've been married for 33 years, so I would hate to have one or the other not there.
What are some misconceptions that you've got, or that you had about love and sex?
That they were the same thing. And that I wouldn't have known what love was until I'd had sex, which, looking back, is not right at all. But I think we get a lot of that from social media, Disney movies.
Disney movies lied so badly.
I think you get the opposite too as well. Sometimes you get, like, if you have sex too early, no one will ever love you because you've been devalued somehow as well.
Which is such an archaic view. So would we be on the same page to say that a lot of misconceptions come from, say, archaic and old values that are no longer used? Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on there. So how would you go about, like, navigating, say, that minefield of love and sex? Do you just dive straight into a relationship, or you just dive straight into the bed? Just to put it, briefly.
You need to try before you buy. So bed first, definitely.
That's interesting. What do you think?
I would personally pick bed first, but I just think that for some people it's important to have that relationship first because it's hard to trust someone.
Yeah.
And you need to know, like, you need to be able to have that, even if you've never met the person, you still need to have a conversation before you actually have sex with them. Like, this is what I'm okay with, do not do this. Like, you need to have these rules put down first, because otherwise it could be horrible. Yeah,
just general consensus beforehand. Now, what do you think about the topic, Kayla? Do you think that would you like test the waters first, or you go with your heart follows?
I don't know. I think, like, if you want to have sex with someone, just do it. And then if a relationship comes out of it, like, that's a great thing. But if it doesn't really matter either, so.
Well, I am so relaxed in this panel tonight.
Well, I think there's a time in everyone's life when they're not looking for love, they're maybe just looking for a bit of fun. But I think love and sex come at different times in your life, and eventually everyone's looking for love. Sometimes do get confused, but yeah.
Especially in the queer world, I'd say they can be very disconnected, or they can be very connected indeed. Like the whole world of casual sex, especially for men, for gay men and bi men, it's just so easy to just get casual sex, but it's not really fulfilling. But when you find love, and when there's that connection between the two, it's really something special.
I don't personally go out and sleep with everyone that I can find. I'm more of a find a relationship and then go try and work on the second, third, fourth date. You know, should we go to your house now, sort of scenario.
Looking at, say, sexual health as a topic. Now, what issues do you think surround, I guess, GLBT young people when it comes to sexual education and sexual health?
There's not enough out there.
Yeah.
Sex is definitely aimed at heterosexual sex, and it's also very, we don't, like, as women, we don't learn enough about our bodies even to know what we're doing or what's going to happen if we do things. And
the vagina is still very taboo.
yeah, like we learn the parts. Some places you learn the parts, but you never know what they do. So this is attached to my body, but I okay, cool.
It's just there. It's like my appendix. Don't really know what it does. What are some things that you, I guess, as an adult, and I guess as a learned lesbian lover, what are some things that you wish that you did know when you first walked into the sexual world?
Oh, that's a really hard question. I guess that just because sex is really intense doesn't mean that you are in love with somebody. I feel that a lot of my friends who are gay women and myself have made that mistake a few times.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So it's just drawing the line between love and an amazing climax?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So it needs to be drawn.
I think that not just for lesbians, but also for gay men, because I know that I definitely am like, oh my God, I'm in love with them. No, we just had great chemistry in a certain activity.
Absolutely.
And outside of that, I actually hate your face. But that's just my opinion. Now, do you think that your own personal stories help young other people, like when you're talking to someone who's recently come out or is coming out, or do you think that those gory stories stay to a different place?
It depends on what stories you're telling them, I guess.
If you're telling them horror stories, it's probably not going to be helpful at all.
Well, what about like a nice positive story, or do you if someone say they're recently coming out, they're identifying, do you tell them any like tips or tricks?
I mean, my little brother asked me where he goes to get STI checks, and you know, I told him, you know, it's really important to get one every 3 months. If you don't, I will kill you. So yeah, I guess that advice is really important because nobody really tells you that you have to actually go and get checked.
Yeah, that's something you have to find out. But we've also got a bit of that coming up a little bit later on with our panel of elders, so that should be pretty cool. Stick around because we do have those elders coming up shortly. Join in on the conversation. You can use the QYT hashtag and add your 2 cents to this topic. Welcome back to Queer Young Thing. My name's Dylan and I'm joined tonight by my lovely panel of youth. We've got Lisa, Kayla and Cass still with us, and we're talking about love and sex. Now, Lisa, you work as a day job in an adult store, so you've got sex in your face all the time.
All the time.
Now, do you also know about safe sex practices, say for lesbian sex?
Yeah, well, I didn't actually know what a dental dam was until like last year. Yeah. But yeah, I do.
And a dental dam, that is, I guess, akin to, say, the female condom.
Yeah, absolutely. Heterosexual couples use it as well. It's mainly used for oral sex, so they're very, we don't really sell very many of them at work.
Yeah, I can't imagine like people going, oh my God, I need a dental dam now.
Yeah.
What exactly, okay, I've never used one, I'm not going to lie.
It's pretty much a sheet of latex that's just placed over the vagina.
Okay. So, and then that's like
it's like a barrier. Oh, exactly. Yeah.
And I guess one thing, condoms, they come in different flavors. Are they like dental dam, licorice flavor?
There are, yeah. We sell blueberry and raspberry at my shop, so yeah.
And why do you think, I guess, people aren't using, dental dams? Because you still can catch an infection from oral sex.
I guess it's the inconvenience. It's the same as why people don't use condoms. You know, it's an inconvenience of having to be like, oh, hang on a second, I'll be back.
They're also harder to find. Like, I got told to use a dental dam, but I don't know. Well, I just found out you can get them from sex shops, but I don't really.
And you can buy a packet of condoms for $8. One dental dam is $8.
Oh, wow.
Like,
so
it's crazy.
And for that, like, $8 for, like, one dental dam, I'm going to say they're not reusable?
Definitely not.
So you can't just like
Definitely
flip
not.
it around.
Probably not a good idea.
I suppose in this segment, we are talking about sex, and in, I guess, our current landscape, there's not a lot of sex ed for, say, same-sex attracted.
Yeah.
How would one, like, I guess, use a dental dam? Like, do they just chuck it on there, or is it a bit of delicate?
Basically, it's just like a barrier, so it's just over top.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Dinner served.
Love and sex, how connected are they?
They're pretty hard not to be connected. I would say connected-ish. I think sort of you can have love for a child. You're not necessarily going to have sex with the child unless you're doing something that's probably regarded by society as pretty wrong.
I think you can probably have one without the other. I think sex can be something that is just lust, but it can also be very much connected to love as well.
I think you can disconnect them, but it doesn't necessarily make you much happier.
When you're young, I think probably they are very separate, but I think it's really special when they do come together.
For certain people, they are inextricably linked, but others, they are not. And I'm sounding like a politician, I think.
Staying in the same stem of sexual health, what about like relationship health? Like, how do you know when you find like a sexual partner? How do you navigate that? Do you set up barriers? Should you set up, say, rules and stipulations? How would you negotiate that?
I think every relationship is different, and rules are important, they need to be there, but they differ from relationship to relationship. So I think they're unique to the situation, really. There's no like one rule that's going to apply to every relationship that there is.
Yeah.
I think, just take it as it comes, really.
Have to do what you're, talk about what you want to do and keep checking back in with your partner that that's okay.
And how would you raise that topic? Like, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, or would you wait until, I guess, you wait mid-act, mid-coitus?
I think that's easier than sitting down over a cup of tea and saying, hey, it's a little awkward.
I was just going to say, there's one awkward dinner time table, so I like this. Do you want to try? Finish the steak? With I guess, having a healthy life is also having a healthy sexual life.
Yeah.
So we can't keep, I guess, having this conversation that, let's just abstain from sex and sexual acts, because it's not going to happen.
No.
How do you, I guess, combat people when they bring up the topic of, you should not have a large sexual life?
I like to tell them, like, as I've had a whole bunch of people saying, sex is bad, you shouldn't be having sex. And I like to be like, well, I have an organ in my body that is pretty much entirely for sexual pleasure. Why should I not use that? Like, my body is designed for pleasure. Why should I not?
Yeah, why should you have to deny yourself?
Love and sex, how connected are they?
Oh, well, we all love a bit of sex.
I think there's a perception that they're the same thing for a lot of people, but I don't think that's the case. But they can go together very well.
I would like to think that there's an element of love in all sex. It might be a very small bit, it might only last a night, but I think they're pretty well connected.
Sex can be a really amazing thing when you're in love. I think it's a lot better, but I don't think it's like something to live by. I think casual sex is also fun and awesome too. So, you can connect the two, but not entirely.
Sex is lovely. That's pretty connected. No, I think they're pretty. I think they're pretty connected. I think they're hard to disconnect. At least like is pretty crucial, in my opinion.
One thing that I guess comes up a lot is the topic of how many people have you had sex with? Which I think is a bit, sometimes when I was younger I used to count, but then that number got way too high and I just threw that list out. Just got embarrassing. Do you still keep a list, or do you?
I'm in the same boat as you. I started to, but then, I gave up.
Yeah, because I remember when I went for my first sexual health test, and they're like, how many partners have you had in the past 6 months? And I was like, oh, well, okay. Oh my God. And I was like, no, this is too much. And it just felt really confronting.
Yeah, they are really confronting questions.
Yeah, I like to put multiple.
And do you, I guess, I know that I have regular sexual health checkups. Do you, the three of you, also go and get regular tests, or do you just do what your body tells you?
I did before I got in a relationship, but after 2.5 years, there was really no point. So, but yeah, beforehand I did regular checkups.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, obviously.
You're together.
I'd be worried if you said something different.
just in case. You never know.
Yeah, that's true. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm not in a relationship, so I still check regularly, and I probably would still if I was in a relationship too, just because I'm that kind of person that's like, I don't want to get anything. Just no. Yeah,
because you don't really know until. Like, if you don't get tested, you're not going to know until something starts weeping. Anyway, we've got more of Queer Young Thing coming up in a tick. Make sure you jump on that hashtag QYT and share your stories. And welcome back to Queer Young Thing. Now, we've been talking about love and sex and drawing the differences between. However, now I'm pleased to bring in our elders. We've got a lovely panel tonight with Anushka Wooten from Drummond Street Services, Dr. George Forgan-Smith, also known as the Healthy Bear, and Vicky Ryle from Headspace. Now, welcome to the show. I'd like to know your view. Start off with Vicky. What's your view on love and sex? Are they connected?
My personal view?
Yeah.
I think they can be, but they don't have to be. And it's nice when they are.
Yeah, they can work together harmoniously.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Healthy Bear. Do you prefer George or the Healthy Bear?
George is great. George is
great. George. So, George, you talk a lot about gay men's health and gay men's sex as well. Now, I've seen a lot of your videos, and you talk about different apparatus, say like butt plugs, for example.
I think I'm the only doctor worldwide who actually has a position statement on butt plugs and how long you can wear one. So 20 minutes. 20 minutes. But yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Now, how important do you think it is to get those messages of, I guess, better safe sex practices out there to our community?
Look, I think it's vital that people, I think a lot of people are bored with condom. And one of the things that we haven't done as a community is sexified condoms. Like if you even look at porn, condoms just miraculously appear. We never see people putting them on. We never people see lose a little bit of the erection and then it gets a wobbly and then they have to try to get it on. So I think there's lots of stuff that we still need to talk about. Sexuality is wide and it's varied and it's not all about penetration. So I think the more that we can get people to become understanding and au fait with lots of different sexual practices, the easier it is to choose stuff and then work it into the way you like it.
Very interesting. Now, Anushka, you deal with young people on a daily basis. How much, I guess, is involved with, I guess, their sexual appetites and their sexual knowledge, working, I guess, in the youth services sector?
Well, young people talk with me about a lot of things. Some of that is sex, and a lot of the young women that I work with, they do actually voice how awkward that often they don't use condoms, and it is awkward for them to ask, the person that they're with to use condoms, etc., etc. So I really do think and I think that awkwardness comes from not knowing how to converse on the subject. How do we talk about sex? Like, how do we make it so we can talk about it, so it's okay, so it's not taboo anymore? So.
And what would be your advice?
Let's talk about sex, salt and pepper. Like everyone's doing it. Why aren't we talking about it as well? And I think that through good communication, we can, because I think that everyone has different views on it. Everyone has different feelings about it. So I think that if we sort of create an open space where people can talk about it, then we can start finding the gaps in people's knowledge and educate each other on it.
Yeah.
I also think though that safe sex negotiation always happens at the wrong time. Say for example, if people are in bed and it looks like they might be leading towards penetrative sex, that's not the best time to say, you know what, I think we should get condoms out, because it gives that connotation of, I'm worried that I might get something. What if the negotiations happened before you had sex? So you're going into the bedroom, chuck some condoms down, say, hey, we might need those later. And then boom, the flow is so much better and it feels nicer and safer, and there's no if or you or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just
Vicky, what has your experience been, I guess, with sexual health working with the organisation of Headspace? Like, do you get a lot of young people coming forth and, I guess, voicing any concerns or any fears?
Yeah, look, I think it relates to what the other people have said as well, that in all health services, I mean, Headspace focuses mainly on mental health, but what we're trying to do is look at all, everything about the young person in one. So we ask up front, about, attraction and behaviours and identity, and try and, I guess, open up a conversation, and hopefully all the workers or clinicians you would meet in a Headspace Centre, you could talk about sex and relationships and sexual health, whether that was their role or not. Yeah. I think sometimes if workers of any description, a GP or mental health counsellor or anyone doesn't ask, it's actually harder to tell. That's been my experience, that I really hope that we get better at that, because that makes the negotiations easier. If we're just all a little bit more loose about talking about sex and relationships, and it doesn't have to be that means there's then a whole lot of conversation about, and then you did what, and but is this important to you? Is this an important part of why you're here? Just to check that out.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Now, Lisa, do you have a question for our panel of elders?
Yeah,
tonight?
I sure do. There's so much, emphasis put on women sleeping around. If they sleep around, they're a slut. If a man sleeps around, he's a legend. Yeah. So are they more promiscuous, or?
I think I don't know about the statistics, but I would say that there's probably an even thing going on here. I think that it'd be really unsatisfactory to sort of go by that kind of, I think that women love sex just as much as men love sex, so what do you think?
And I also think working with both young men and young women in either straight or queer relationships, you're absolutely right. There's still the promiscuous mentality, which is really derogatory for young women and not so much for young blokes. A lot of the people I've seen in clinical work over years, though, actually for young men, they do feel pretty terrible often. I'm not sure that other people know that, but when you're sitting down, if they've not decided, hey, I'm comfortable with being polygamous or whatever, and it's not negotiated, there's not comfort with it, that it can feel just as terrible as it can for young women.
And who are these people having sex with? It's two sides of the same coin. Unless they're gay, then if X amount of men are sleeping around, then surely X amount of women must be as well. But the other thing is, it's about treating people. I don't think it's a number thing. I think it's the way you treat your sexual partners. If you're simply projecting your fantasy onto an object that looks closest to what you like, that's a very different way than having an experience that's loving and caring and well connected.
And actually connecting. Because what is sex but a really deep connection, with an extension of human relationships, but just kind of deepening it and allowing another person to be closer to you in that sense.
Is it a deepening of connection though? Because you can have sex, you can have good sex with someone you've never met before, as long as you do it safely and you communicate about it. Does it have to be a deepening of relationship sex?
This is true. Maybe it doesn't need to be a deepening of a pre-existing relationship, but it could be, it's a deepening of some sort of relationship, it's a forming of some sort of relationship, whether that just be something for that moment, that present time, or whether it extends later. But I totally agree with you.
But it's also great to have conversations like these, because I think your question raises the issue of, we've got it a bit confused. They're really inextricably linked. And unless we spend time on our own with mates in the world thinking this stuff through, and we're comfortable with articulating, I'm cool with having sex without love, or, people need to decide that for themselves. And any answer they come up with needs to feel okay, but we can only do that if we're a bit more accepting of diversity in behaviours and attractions and love.
I think it's all about the intensity of the moment. It's just that if two people connect and it's pleasant. I'm an Aquarian. Sex is a great way to meet people. but that's the thing. It's all about the intensity, and it's about sharing that emotional bond, whether that be for 5 years or 5 hours.
Sadly, we've run out of time for this episode on love and sex, with still so much more to talk about. However, We will be back next week with more Queer Young Thing.